It's a great pleasure for me to be here among you. Actually, it's the first attempt that I will make in order to present such a theme. But you know, I really believe on this, and I really believe that by inspiring young people, it makes us younger, and also, you know, rebirth us. And regarding writing, you know, always we are students, because writing is a lifelong learning procedure. You are getting better and better. You are doing mistakes by mistake. Actually, last night, when I was preparing this, I was thinking about my supervisor when I was in St. Andrews. I did my PhD in St. Andrews in Scotland in laser physics, and I gave him my first manuscript, and then he returned it back. It was a red bullet, and I was starting to scream, what the fuck? I mean, I'm sorry about my language. What is happening with this? You know, what is the problem? What is the mistake? But you know, now, even now, I know that I'm doing a lot of mistakes by the year, by not only writing, but also, as Katerina said, and Ioannis, also by reading. We're improving both of our skills, and reading and writing. And as you will see, the outline of my talk, I'm very ambitious. Like, I will try to cover everything from capturing the idea, why publication is important, how to construct from the outline the total paper, what is the review process, how do we have to respond to the reviewers, and what are, you know, actions in order to improve the writing and the reading of our students, and the experience that we have within our department. So I will appreciate if you make all the questions at the end in order to be able, within the 45 minutes, to cover everything. So I will try why it's important to publish, you know, for the students and for the scholars. But, you know, on my mind, the student and the professor and academics, the same. All of us, we are scholars. And how to write a paper, how to get your work published, ethics in publishing, how to read a scientific paper, how to review a paper, and proposed actions. I mean, this is based on a full course that I have developed on the frame of the iPad. And now I will try to give, you know, some tips, if I will have the time, or I will accelerate. I'm not going to follow any of the transparencies. I like the idea Katerina presents as a guy that is not following any transparency. I prefer to follow no transparencies. I just have my transparency in order to remind myself if I miss something. So for academics and for the scholars, publishing is everything. I mean, I like the dimension that Katerina gave about also web and online exposure, but for a scholar, publication is everything, because this gets our academic job, this attracts funds, this builds our reputation. So where we can publish, what we can publish? We can publish scientific journals, we can publish book chapters, we can publish monographs. You know, Raz mentioned about PhD thesis and master thesis. We can publish in conference proceedings, and I add this thanks to Katerina. We can publish in websites and blogs. But this is a big question here about, you know, the reputation that we are building and how, you know, all these publications are assessed. You can publish in papers that, you know, they belong. Yesterday we have a big discussion on this about non-profit organizations like American Physical Society, American Chemical Society, Materials Royal Society, Royal Society of Chemistry, or for-profit publishers like Wiley, Springer, Elsevier, MDI. We can publish full articles, we can publish review papers, we can publish communications. For communications, there is an important point that we should convince the editor of the rush that we have in order to publish this document. Also, we can publish in open access papers. Basically, we should publish, because yesterday my friend from Barilan, Yossi, said that we have a lot of unpublished data. Anything that is unpublished is not, I mean, it has an interest, but, you know, for our community and the competition that we have, it has no meaning. So how to write a paper? I mean, as I told you, this is a lifelong procedure. We should learn, and we learn, and we learn by our mistakes until we publish and reject it. We should learn, as you see, to learn how to be rejected and how to respond to the rejection. I mean, what is a scientific paper? On my mind, scientific paper is a coherent story. It's a story, I mean, we're starting from hypothesis, but the hypothesis should be based on an academic gap, that we identify this academic gap through a very good bibliographic research. So bibliographic research is very important in order to find out where is the border of knowledge and known knowledge. So in order to publish in the good papers, we should find this gap. And this gap should not be further away from this border, because if you go further of this border because knowledge and known knowledge, probably you cannot back up your argument, because everything that we are doing should be based on a previous work, on a backup theory that exists, in order to show that what we are doing, it's withstand according to physics principles, in my case, in the case of Ron, to the chemical principles, or whatever is your discipline, to the theoretical principles and experimental results that other people they have done. So, and also, you know, a paper it's an instruction for young researchers in order to continue their work based on your work, to continue and develop, you know, the research progress. The most important thing to start is to know your community. Know your community meaning the people of your sector, because then you are learning, you know, the terminology that you should use. Katerina spoke very nice about, you know, a specific terminology that each discipline should speak, keywords that you should use. Also, you learn who are, you know, the leaders, the innovators of your field. It's very nice. Actually, you know, I have on my mind Advanced Materials Journal. They have these Hall of Fame articles that they are built by people that they have innovated, you know, their disciplines. I should not say, you know. And this, you know, gives you a quick overview where the things are happening. And also, you learn what are the relevant journals to select. A wrong selection of a journal creates, as you will see, unnecessary delays. It has happened to me. I was waiting for 7 months because I was keeping to send, you know, an article in a wrong journal. I will tell you what does this means. How are you going to learn your community? You can go to the conferences. You should find, you know, the conferences that, you know, they are most influential in your discipline. You can go and visit, you know, research laboratories. Yesterday, thanks to Ron, I visited this fantastic lady, you know, laboratory, and I was impressed. And this gives me an idea, you know, how to collaborate with them and how I'm going to advance my knowledge. So exploit your visits. I mean, if you go somewhere, try to connect. It's very, very important. And also, the easiest thing, but you know, it needs a lot of effort, is to start with a bibliography research. For young scholars, when you enter a research group, try to do a 10-year, at least, bibliography research to build, you know, what has happened and be able to see where is this border of knowledge and non-knowledge. Bibliography research defines, as I said, the borders of knowledge and non-knowledge. I mean, it should be done in a daily basis, since in natural sciences, you know, this border is moving away continuously. And in order to do this, a good bibliography research will place you, this comes from the Greek mythology, on the shoulders of the giants. So, I mean, you will be able to see, you know, beyond. You will be able to see where your research should be directed, what are the gaps in order to move over there and publish something innovative with an impact. How are you going to do this? You know, this is nice. I mean, sometimes, always. I think it's very nice to have overlap with the previous speaker, because this, you know, it makes, you know, a continuation. And the repeat is a method of learning. So I will say in myself, Katerina spoke about other research, other websites. I will continue with Katerina's suggestion, Google Scholar, but I will go on also to Web of Science and Scopus that, you know, are very credible search engines in order to find out bibliography and not information. And also, sometimes if you register on the website of the scientific journals, you know, they are sending you the alerts based on the keywords that you are going to place, and you are getting informed in a daily basis, or, you know, it depends how often, you know, this issue is released. And another nice, very nice way to learn what is happening are the review papers. If you read very good review papers, already someone else has done the work for you, and so you can continue and find out where are you going. Another tool is the Old Reader tool. The Old Reader is a free software that can update, you know, each scholars or academics what is happening in his area in a daily basis. So the academics, we use this in order to see what is happening, what publications are released, for example, in organic solar cells or in perovskites, BN-MINAS, and then we inform our undergraduate students and postgraduate students, look this paper, make me a summary, because now you cannot follow anything. The biggest difficulty that we have is to follow what is happening. I mean, you cannot do it if you don't involve the whole system within your laboratory. Also, when you are writing a thesis, when you are trying to write a proposal, you should somehow archive, you know, these publications in a very systematic manner. There are tools that we should use. There are tools that we can access. They are free. And in my case, I'm using this Mendeley. But there are other suggestions. EndNote is not for free. I'm looking at him. So writing is something like in basketball. You see katas, they are training a lot in order to perform. So no gain, no pain, no gain. So in order to write is something difficult. I mean, do not consider that writing is easy thing. I mean, writing is a hard thing, especially for us that we are not English speakers. You should learn how to read, look the soft skills, how to think of innovative ideas, how to write your paper, how to construct the outline, how to perform the experiments. And if you will do this, if you pay in a lot, then probably you will have the publications. And also you remember one idea, one paper. I mean, do not confuse too many ideas within a paper because then it's not clear. Okay, the first step is the literature review. The other ones, Katerina spoke about research question. On my mind, research question is like the research question should be based on these four statements. I mean, you should be able to say, I have this idea. Is this idea backed up by the existing theory? Do I have the equipment or the experimental expertise to implement this experiment within my laboratories, or I should go to Yakov in Bar-Ilan and start to collaborate, call Yakov and say like, do these experiments, I will do these experiments, and then we'll have this collaboration that is very beneficial for your publication. I mean, if the editors, they can see collaborations, especially from a small university to a very large, big and famous university, this is on my advantage because I promoted better my work. I should ask, do I bring new elements in the literature in order to be innovative? When I should publish? I'm working for a person that she's very elitistic. She would like to check any results and optimize all the results. What is the consequences? Over there is a jungle. We should compete each other. So my idea, start to do the experiments, start to take some results, and then I will come to my friend Overhaus here, Professor Overhaus here, and then you will see, I have these results, analyze these results, I have this target, but probably during the analysis, my target probably will be changed and I will find something more important. Or I will reach this target from a different, more efficient pathway. So start to do the experiment, start to analyze the figures and your graphs, and start the writing when you have the first promising results. Sometimes the minimum that you should have is your results to be reproducible. This is ethics. I will come to the ethics. You have to have a story. Remember what is a research paper is a coherent story. And this is the most common mistake that people they are doing. They are not writing a coherent story. They start with an objective, and then within the main body or within the abstract or within the introduction, they mess it up. It should be, remember what Kata said. I have this opponent. I have a plan. All right? Follow this plan. It should be represent a real contribution to the field. Sometimes for the research students or for academics, we should advise them. I mean, it's better to write and publish your papers because this is going to make easier for you to write the thesis. Because you have already some results that they have been assessed, they have been published, so it's going to be easier. All right? Or sometimes you have, a boss that you would like to patent and not to publish. This, depends on a particular case. Selection of the appropriate journal. As I said to you, the topic of your research should be among the objectives and the priorities of the journal that you are going to select. Also, sometimes these are tricks. You should go to the conferences. You know why? Because there are a lot of editors over there. You are getting no. And people, they are not going to do a favorite, but it's a different when you receive a paper from Overhaus that, probably I know if I was an editor. And also, some groups, they like to build their reputation by publishing at the same journal. This also helps, for them to make, the whole story easier. How to prepare the manuscript. Everything starts from the outline. To make the plan. Otherwise, what are you going to start? Are you going to start to build your house without a plan? You should have a plan. The most general outline is this one. So these are the titles, the building blocks of the outline. Title, authors and affiliation, abstract, introduction, results, discussion, materials and methods, references, acknowledges, figures and tables, supplementary materials. Depending on the journal that you are going to submit, these are, the construction. And now you should work a lot of time within to enrich each one of these building blocks. The majority of the time of the preparation of the good paper is the outline. This, engages all the authors and the supervisor. When you have a very good outline, and people, they suggest to start the outline from where? From the figures. It's better to have the figures, because the figures and the caption makes the story. Then the story, you should link the figures. It's the easiest way. So let's start, this is like the outline. As I said, you should spend a lot of time on this. It's like the plan of your house. And also, now, in order to start to write everything, is like to answer what? This is like the research question. Why I'm doing this? What new I'm bringing? Can I support, the data that I have? Which data I was expecting to have and which data I don't have? Because this gives me the perspective. So when I will reach a conclusion, I will suggest, we can further extend this research by doing this and this. Don't hide things. It's not ethical, because this thing in the manuscript is, for my publication record, for my H index, but also is an educational product. It's like for new researchers to continue and advance and give an impact of what we are doing. If you hide, you are not giving an impact of what are you doing. The title should be specific. Avoid to use acronyms in this title. Advise the journal how long should be the title. Okay, if you would like to enrich the title, also the journals, they give us the option of the keywords. We can add a few keywords, below the title, below the abstract, that we can provide, the extra information. The authorship. This is like the biggest problem within research groups. I never mind where my order will be, but it's ethical. It's ethic to use the right ordering. Within the authorship, you should include only the people that they have participated in the experiments, when we are talking about like experimental work. You should include the people that they have assessed and they have prepared the manuscript. You should include the people, of course, that they have paid their money, funding the project, or they have the idea. All the others that they have not included in one of these actions, they can be placed on the acknowledgement, or they should not be placed. All right, the abstract. I'm going to skip this abstract because already Katerina has said a lot of things, but it's the most important thing. It's the highlight. When I'm reading a paper, and all of us, the general, we are reading the abstract. No, first we are looking the figures to understand what is happening, and then we are moving to abstract, and then probably we are going to read the full paper, and this is giving a good abstract more opportunities and more possibilities our work to be cited. The abstract also has some limitations depending on the journal. 150 to 200 words, not more. Introduction. Over there, my friend, we should do all our historical review. I totally agree with you. Do not overdo it, but at least cite the first paper that has happened there, and also the most important and the latest work, because this shows to the editor that you know your job. You are not someone that you don't know what is happening. This gives credentials. And also, don't forget that one of the reviewers probably will be one of the citations that you have missed. And this is a problem. This is a problem. And another thing, do not cite your work. In order to remember this, the abstract and the introduction should satisfy this criteria. These are like motivation, results, conclusion, and implication. These four words, they should satisfy and should drive the whole effort how to construct the introduction and the abstract. The literature review is very important, since, as I have said already, gives you the idea where is the knowledge and the knowledge. Also provides the motivation and the innovation of your work, because you fill this gap. And the results, the results section, which is the main body, you are telling the whole, not the whole story, the experiments that you did, the results that you have taken, you criticize, you present the figures, and etc. In the discussion, you analyze and you make a conclusion of the results that you have taken, why it's important, and in conclusions, sometimes you conclude all your work, you highlight your work, and also you are giving the perspective, future perspectives of your work. This is also important, abstract and figures. Spend time in the figures. The first time that someone told me about the figures, my reaction, I cannot use this word that I used, but you can imagine. I said, oh, why is this important? I said all the theory. No. Illustrations, stuff like this is something that's selling. I mean, it's not only selling, it's very important by meaning. You are telling your story over there. If you are doing mistakes, you are doing the mistakes through the figures. You cannot hide the figures. I mean, you can tell a lot of bullshitting, through the main text, but, figures say the truth. Okay, how to avoid boring? This is a whole list, but basically you are not have a coherent story. I mean, you have a lot of, let's say, the title of the paper is not coherent with the main text, and other reasons. Always you should remember to answer, so what? Why are you doing this work? The most common mistakes that we are doing. The first and the most important, we are not following the format of the journal. I mean, it's very important to decide before you start to write to which journal you are going to send it, because this dictates the whole format. How are you going to report the citations? How long is going to be the abstract? What sections, building blocks you should include? It's very important to do this. Also, you should respect the submission deadline, to do a proofreading of your colleagues. If you are a PhD student, involve the other PhD students, because if they will do it, you will do it for them. And then the supervisor. The supervisor is very important. The supervisor should be involved in this process and should help the students at the end to make, very useful and very efficient comments. Okay, now how to publish your work. Publishing is like an industry. It's our Wall Street for the academics. If you publish, you are rich. But for the academics, publishing is like, oh man, a death, a thriller when you are passing from them. So, I mean, the auditors, you should be very careful with well-written text, the informative and artful figures, perfect English, and the importance of the abstract, the impact of the findings. This is, the whole process. You are sending something, but it's going to editorial office. They check the format. And, if you don't follow the format, you are going to be rejected by an administration, which is bad. But then, if passes these tests, they're going to main editor. The main editor check the abstract, check the relevance of your content with the priorities of his journal. He checks the bullshitting that you have done on the cover letter in order to convince him that your paper is so important, for Nature. And then he sends, the things to the reviewers. From the moment that he is going to the reviewers, 50% to be accepted. The main filtering is happening to the editor. So there are a lot of journals, depending on the reputation, the impact factor, that the editor could pass 5% of the submission, or probably 70%. This depends on the reputation. Let's say the reputation, all the works are reputed, it should be respected, of the journal. So I have to say also that the reviewing is an anonymous. Sometimes it is suggested and it's advised to young researchers, do not sign up their review process. Sign up could happen not only by saying, I'm Konstantinos Petridis, I did this, but also sometimes you cite your work. And, I have seen that, people that they cite their work quite often, I know who is the reviewer, all right? Don't do this, especially the young researchers or, the non-significant researchers like me. Don't, cite your work, don't try to give your stamp, because you don't know what is happening in the future if you're criticizing negatively, the work of a very famous person. Sometimes, the well-reputed, scientists, when they have, tenureship, they sign and they exposed. So the reviewing is characterized by speed, quality, transparency, fairness, and efficiency. Be fair. If you are fair, no one is going to be angry in a long time. High rejection ratios, long format, bad English, absence of coherence. You don't support with a bibliography or with experimental work your results. These are things that they are going, or wrong selection of journal has happened to me a lot of times, not once, but grammatical and syntax errors a lot of times, lack of novelty, these are reasons of rejection. And rejection differs. You can have a rejection that go to hell, it's not this work for my journal, minor changes, major changes, minor and major changes are usually, few grammatical, errors. Major changes, they request extra experiments or extra justification. Or sometimes, the people when they reject, they don't rejecting completely, from the journal, but they suggest a sister journal. All right? A journal that is more specified to the needs of your work. Very important is the cover letter. I will show you. You remember? The cover letter is very important because it's sent to the editor. You explain to him why this work is important and why it's coherent with the objectives of the specific journal, why your work is so wow. It's very good to add a talk. What is a talk? It's a general figure that highlights your work. One figure that highlights your work. This Colina. When you submit something, you propose some referees. All right? Don't propose, it's not ethical to propose people that they are co-authors with you in previous work, your brother, your sister, your supervisor, PhD supervisor. Try to propose people, that, of course, that you know, but you have not worked with them, all right? Rejection after the review. I told I have already said all these areas. Oh man, this is very important. I'm doing resilience courses in order to handle this in everything that, upsets my calm. And it's very easy to accept my calm. Don't take it personally. Someone, I don't remember yesterday, mentioned about this. Don't take it personal. The reviewers are people that they try to help you. They are people that if you use, take this positively, you are going to make your work better, for sure. Because if you address their comments, your work is going to be published. If not, it will never be published. You can argue with them, but you can argue diplomatically and very polite. All right? Don't try to have a conflict with them because nothing will happen. Respond to the reviewers. Switch off your computer. Think what the reviewers they have said. Go out with your girlfriend, with your boyfriend for a walk. And then, during the night, you are going to be calm. Never, reply to something when you have a hot temper. This will give you some time to reassess, see the positive thing all the time, don't go from the negative side, and this will help you to address the reviewer. And also, when you address the reviewer, go point by point. So this is the comment, this is my reply. And also go back to the manuscript and highlight, actually, this is asked by, the journal, highlight where the changes has happened. This is like a typical format of respond to a reviewer. I have on the course that I'm going to give, and the full transparencies are available through the website of IPEN. I have what I have published. And if you are lucky, Professor Kimakis, we are very happy that Professor Kimakis is my boss. We are very happy that the paper has been accepted. And then congratulations, you're a fantastic man, just for a day. Then you should write your work again. Okay, then after the acceptance, the proof of concept, how many manuscripts, during the proof of concept, you should be very careful about the surnames, because we have the Google Scholar. Or all other metrics about the H index of an academic. If I place Ras and I will write the surname of Ras Papadakis, Ras will never get a citation because the surname is wrong. Even a letter is wrong. If you go to my Google Scholar, I have written my name, Konstantinos with K, Konstantinos with C, and Kostas with K. Probably I'm losing citation. That's why I don't have H index 40. Ethics. Ethics is very important. Right now, in science, we suffer about this. You know why? Because we have like a rat competition. We are running in order to have, more very important publication, more citations, and then we will go to the meetings of our department with an attitude. But this is not, this is not ethical. And ethics means what? First of all, plagiarism. All right? Copy things. Common mistakes in abstract is like they copy from very important publications. And it's very easy because someone is going to read the abstract. It's the first thing that you are going to do. So plagiarism is one thing. And all the editors, they have now plagiarism software to detect what is happening, okay? And also, we have the other thing. We convert our data. Sometimes the people, in the best case, we report, the best value, the best results. We don't speak anything about repeatability. How repeatable are our results? This is the difference between a physicist and an engineer. I'm going to comment and mention only the best results, but not how often I'm getting these results. If you work in the solar cell, now all the papers ask me nice, they ask curves, the best efficiency that you have, how many devices did you build in order to get this efficiency? So it's something that, comes from the ethics, because this is what we are doing. Who is going to publish first? I'm better than the other one. Academics are not good people. I mean, we have good, look, these are nice graphs. You see, the year of the publication, this is exponentially, no, it's not exponentially. It could be, I don't know what is it. The number of the articles that they are rejected. These people, they have captured. And if you see the countries, look the countries, USA, Germany, and Japan are, the maximum of articles that they have been rejected because of frauding. Why in these countries? Because the competition over there is hell. I mean, if you would like to survive, within a US university, a big US university, ask my friend Yakov, you should publish. You should publish, and you should publish better than your next one. I mean, it's my life or your death. Okay, I spoke about plagiarism, intellectual properties very fast. Intellectual properties, the copyrights belong to the editor, but all the intellectual properties, they belong to the journal. So if you would like to take a figure from another publication, you should make the reference. You should go through the journal to make a whole procedure that you are requesting the copyrights of this figure. How are you going to make your research more credible? There is only one recipe: repetition, 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 and try, to highlight not the best values, but the average values. But and say the truth. Never plagiarism, never build your data, because at the end of the day, it's a time of matter to be caught. And as you are going up and up and up, we have the gravity. If you fall from there, it will pain more than to fall from there. All right? How to read the paper? Very fast. I mean, how to read the paper is like how to read the paper, how to write the paper. When you read the paper, try to start from the figures to the abstract, and then highlight, the main methodology, research methodology, the main results. It's a very good idea to have I'm telling to the students, and I'm doing myself, to have a notebook, and I read the paper of this young lady over there, like what has happened in this Nature Communication journal. I will write down, everything. Because then in the laboratory, there is one recipe that comes from basketball, from Mike Krzyzewski. Like they used to say, I have it over there, when you hear, you forget. When you read, you understand. But only when you write, you learn. All right? This is very important to have this as a message. Reviewing. It's a duty, each one of us, to review papers. Because our papers, they are sent to someone else to review it. So we should do it, and I strongly encourage, the young people, and also, the very old, like to do the reviewing, because cultivates, a lot of soft skills of yours. We talk about, Ioannis, about critical thinking. Critical thinking is very strongly cultivated when you are doing the reviewing. Accept, a review only if you are an expert. All right? Don't try to review everything in order to cite your work, but because your work is going to be irrelevant. Have time and respond on time, because other people are waiting. How are you going to write the review the review process? I mean, start with a summary, what the other people state within the manuscript, because this gives the idea that you have understand, what the other people tells. And then start with, however, you should do this, this, and this. All right? I mean, usually, the review process is long when you like the paper and you would like to give a second chance, for this paper to get published. If you can see a very short review, in the majority of the cases, it has a lot of problems, so you say it should be rejected. All right? But these are like, general views. And also, when you build the reviewing, start, from the major problems and go to the minor one, because this helps the authors to correct very fast what they are doing. So I said this about the young. What are we doing now in TI of Crete? All right, in TI of Crete, we would like to connect all this industry with the soft skills of our students. So, of course, we are going to introduce the courses that we are going to develop, mine, Katerina's, Ioannis, Raz, into our curriculum, all right? But also, we are following this journal club action. This journal club action, I was exposed back in 1998 until I finished my PhD in St. Andrews. It was like a fantastic initiative from my boss. And in this club action that we have tested in many events, as you will see, I mean, we split the students, in groups of 4 or 5, depending on the number of the students that they will follow the action. We are providing them, a pool of papers, but they have the option also to search for a paper that they are interested in, or if they are research students, every 2 weeks to present a paper that is very essential for our research. And they make the presentation. And when they make the presentation, we train them, we give them the guidelines, what are the things that they should take care, because these are the same things that they should take care when they are writing. That's why I was very happy, and I stated that when Katerina's presentation said about oral presentation, I had the impression that, the principles of a good oral presentation are the same with the principles of a good scientific writing presentation. And the things that they should take care, I will move on, it is like the abstract, the motivation. First of all, the motivation. They should identify with the paper what is the motivation, what is the innovation, what new things this paper brought, and then to present the thing within a time limit. This also trains their time management skills, because they have to prepare within the team spirit. They should collaborate with the people, they should deliver in a specific time, and they should present the thing in a specific time. And also, we train them in front of public presentations, because at the other end, they are sitting their colleagues and other academics. So they are trained, and sometimes we are very, in purpose, polite, strict, in order to be able to deal with questions that they don't know, and to learn to know, I don't know. It's very hard for any human to say, I don't know, or to say, I'm sorry, it's my mistake, but it's a very fair reply. I don't know, I'm going to check it, because this is the way that we are learning, and this is the way that we are going on. These are the award criteria of this journal club action that it is valid since 1800, so it's not something new, but it's not so common. I cannot see, a lot of universities to use it as, a general course. So presentation time, the presentation should be a teamwork. We don't appreciate if Herman is the strongest personality with his group, and Herman will tell everything. We would like everyone to participate. Coping with the questions, slides presentation, figures, data, text quality, English proficiency, the presentation style. Look at them. Never do this. Never. Never read the presentation. Katerina said very nice. Well, I can send you the presentation, and you can sit, on the toilet and read it, very nice. It's going to be very comfortable, and you are going on. So this is the students' feedback, and these are the events that we would like to try, this action in order to help our students to build their how to write a paper, how to looking for a citation, how to present a citation, how to make a presentation. This is like a European master degree that we had with Oxford, Cambridge. Now it runs as a joint degree with the University of Crete, with Technion. Nir Tesler was part of this. Elbizia, that was directed by Professor Kaliakatsou, Electronic Beyond Silicon Era, new technologies. Like this is another European joint master degree in lasers and plasmas. I had this experience in University of St. Andrews. And in other projects that I'm coordinating, plus ITEM, which is a new capacity building that we have awarded with Weizmann, we are going to apply all of this. And with this, Toda Rabba, I'm on time. Thank you very much for your Also, if you would like, I have, some quiz questions that, these are for professors in order to assess the students if they are going to run this course. 150 transparencies. I didn't speak about 150 transparencies. And also its references that I strongly believe that, the first one, George M. Whiteside's I mean, this is the Bible, how to write a paper, and it was in advanced materials. And more, bibliographies on these transparencies, and also you can enrich it, place it in these transparencies, and send it to me in order to upgrade the course. Thank you.